Hello and welcome to our caravan. In this video I will tell you what are the challenges of living full-time in a caravan in winter. What are the challenges of full-time winter caravanning in the UK. So if you like this idea, give me a thumbs up and let's dive in. So I would say that to compare with full-time caravanning in the summer, in spring, in warmer, lighter months, winter caravanning is a challenge in overall. It is a challenge, full stop. But for you today, I pinpoint 5 smaller challenges. So I broke this big challenge of living in a caravan full-time in winter into smaller chunks. And also I will tell you how we deal with those challenges. I don't call them problems really. These are just challenges, and you find solutions, you learn to adapt, you learn how to exist with those challenges basically. So there are 5. What is number 1? Number 1 is probably the biggest. Number 1 is dealing with damp and cold. So when the weather gets nasty, when it's cold and dark outside, how to make sure that your home on wheels, your camping trailer is warm and dry and comfortable. The rain is coming down very heavily. Just have a little listen. Can you hear that? This is rain against the skyline. That's what it's really like to live in a caravan full-time in winter. You better get used to that sound. Those of you who have been following Freedom Seekers, me and my husband and our dog, for a while, you know that this is actually our first winter in a caravan in the UK. Previous winters we spent in Spain, making the most of a seasonal campsite job which stops for winter. So this year we decided to upgrade the caravan, get something bigger, get something more suitable for winter dwelling in a caravan full-time in the UK, and not spend the whole winter in Spain and not spend most of our savings on our winter holiday. So this was a really good decision, because this caravan doesn't only offer more space, which is crucial because in winter you spend more time indoors. In the summer we literally live outside. In winter we start to live in a caravan, seriously. So there is space, there is more insulation, but what is super important here is really good heating. If you plan to live in your camping trailer in winter in the UK, you know, winters are wet and cold here. You need a caravan which is dry. You don't want any leaks, you don't want any damp, because any problems with water ingress, with damp in the caravan, if you spend a winter living in a caravan, if it's not covered for winter, if it's, you know, exposed to the elements, all these things will just deteriorate. They will get worse and worse. So we are very lucky because this is a solid, dry caravan. We have an excellent heating system, but also we avoid doing certain things in the caravan to minimize the risk of condensation and damp. So I will show you the heating system first. So this is something we were lacking in the previous caravan, because this is a Truma gas heater, but it is connected to the system of pipes which blow hot air around the caravan. So all along the caravan we have those points of releasing hot air, and we also have one in the bathroom, and they are close to the floor. You can see they are very low, so that solves the problem of really cold flooring, because the floor in the caravan gets really cold in winter. So it's nice to have, whatever heating system you have, it's nice to have the source of heat very low, because obviously hot air travels up. So this is the most efficient way of heating. We use gas and electric heating together. It's not the cheapest way. I know that many people suggest Chinese diesel heaters. Yes, this is cheap, but is it safe? Is it reliable? Would I be comfortable sleeping here overnight with a Chinese diesel heater on? I'm not so sure about that, but I will leave this for you to discuss and maybe share your opinions if you have any experiences of using Chinese diesel heater yourself. So to minimize damp, I don't cook in the Caravan. This is our Caravan stove, but I don't cook here. I cook in the awning because I don't mind producing damp in the awning. We also don't shower in our bathroom. We shower in the campsite showers. These are just two simple things you can do to minimize damp problem in winter. Don't cook inside. Also, I do some serious cooking. You know, I don't do microwave meals, ready meals, which take 30 seconds to prepare or 2 minutes. I cook from scratch. I do some serious cooking. So definitely awning is helpful. We will go to the awning later and I will tell you more about how much use we have of this awning in winter. Before we go to the awning, I want to show you a feature of design of our Caravan, which is super important in winter and good for ventilation. Look what's happening here behind sofa cushions. We have this panel here between the wall and the cushion. We have a gap. We didn't have such panels and such gaps in our old Caravan, which meant that all those sofa cushions were touching cold, damp wall directly, and they were getting wet, they were getting cold. There was no ventilation between furnishing, soft furnishing and the wall. As you can see here, look, I can put my fingers here. There is a gap, and this is a brilliant feature of this Caravan. Similarly, in the lockers, there is this mesh at the back, and we have it in all our lockers, at the back of all our lockers. I'm not sure if it was added by the previous owner or if this is a standard thing, but this is such a brilliant idea which you could add to your Caravan, because it means my towels, whatever I put here, doesn't touch the wall directly. There is this gap, there is insulation, and you have to know that in winter, very often our clothes get a bit cold. When your lockers are locked, it's getting really cold inside. So especially if you have an older Caravan, I'm sure you observe that. So the way to do it, you know, and it is a good idea to open those lockers from time to time, to not keep them tightly locked for all winter, to ease insulation, ventilation, to help remove any extra condensation if there is any. We keep this van heated. It's also a good idea to open the windows slightly to get some fresh air. So as you can see, this is a very small gap, but it's enough to let fresh air in. So the final tip and the final observation from our Caravan when it comes to living full-time in a Caravan in winter. As you can see, we have lovely windows in a Caravan, which really give us this feeling of living outside. We get a lot of natural light, we know what's happening outside, we can watch the wildlife, but in winter, those big windows, they don't insulate cold as well as the walls. So if you are thinking about living in a Caravan full-time and your budget for heating is quite tight, choose the van with smaller and fewer windows, and that will pay off. Challenge number 2, ladies and gentlemen, it's keeping your Caravan clean and mud-free. And look what's happening in our garden. It's wet, it's muddy, and this is the world around us. This is what a campsite looks like in winter. It's muddy, it's full of mud. So the solution for mud in the Caravan is having an awning. An awning is brilliant because this is the place where you can have your mats, your dirt mats, for example. You have your space to keep your boots and wet weather gear. This can dry here. Again, you don't want any wet jackets inside because this is extra damp. So I have this hanger here even. So when my jacket is dripping wet, I don't hang it here with the other jackets. I hang it separately here on this hanger and it dries here. So this is brilliant. And of course, muddy boots. And what kind of boots to choose for winter? I will show you my boots and I will show you how I manage changing my shoes here to minimize dirt inside the Caravan. These are my muddy dog walking boots. I've had them for 2 years. They are called Storm Wells. So these are short wellies with lining inside and they are brilliant. I absolutely love them. So as you can see, they've been used and abused. So when I come back from a walk, I leave them close to the entrance. I usually have my clocks next to them ready, so I just swap them quickly, put them away here. I don't put them inside the caravan. They get cold a bit, but it's not a big issue. So I recommend you good wellies. I also have a pair of shoes for outside world. So these are my shoes which I wear when I go off the park. And it's important to have a designated pair of your park and campsite boots, which just get used and abused, and you don't worry about getting dirty, because you will get dirty on your walks with a doggy, or just getting around the side, you know, walking to the toilet or doing your cassette. You will walk around, you will have to walk around, and boots are important. So as you can see, having an awning really sorts many problems. Also, this is where I cook to avoid damp inside in the caravan. This is where we keep our dog's stuff, his coat, his weather gear, his harness. It's all here and it doesn't take space inside. So the decision to keep an awning up for winter was very smart. I can't imagine winter caravanning in the UK without an awning. And you know, even if it gets damp, even if it gets damaged during the winter, even if there is a bit of condensation from time to time, it's not a problem here, because this awning can be aired very quickly. So when we have sunnier day, drier day, we just open those zips and we air it. Also, if it goes, it goes. It cost us literally £300. We got this awning second hand for £300. Of course, the caravan is worth much more. So if you have to cook, dry, wet gear, wet clothes, have some mud, have some dirt, have it in the awning. So we learned very quickly how to stop the dirt and mud here, and how to prevent it from entering our caravan. Looking at the flooring helps. We have a dog, so we have those carpets, and they are washable very easily. We also use blankets to cover the sofas in case we have some dirty paws. So it works for us. Our dog is over 10 years old, so I'm not really keen on wiping his feet after each walk, because he's a bit stiff, he has arthritis. It's not fun. I would rather, you know, hoover a bit more often, exchange those blankets once a week, and maybe wash the carpet in spring if there is a need. So that's my take. I don't know if you agree, if you disagree. Have you got a dog? Would you ever consider caravanning in winter? If you have a caravan, do you pack it for winter? Do you just store it away till spring, or are you out and about caravanning full time even in winter? Let me know. Let me know if you've tried winter caravanning. Those first two challenges were probably the biggest. Number 3 is a bit more subtle. It's dealing with short days, dark and wet days, dealing with being inside in a relatively small space. Even a big caravan is a small space comparing with a flat or a house. So it's about looking after your mood and well-being, because you can imagine that many people would be completely knocked over by the fact that they spent winter in the UK and not somewhere else, like Tenerife for some. That days are short and you are trapped inside. So this could be a perfect storm for developing some low mood and maybe even depression. So there are a few ways we deal with that. Believe it or not, but this dog gets 4 to 5 walks a day. So maybe that's why he's sleeping when he has a chance. He sleeps in a warm caravan. So our 2 solutions to low mood and the risk of developing depression or seasonal affective syndrome. Our 2 solutions are being active, and our dog is the main instructor here, the main personal trainer who keeps us active whatever the weather. And number 2 is eating well. So especially in winter, we swap coffee for healthy herbal teas which give us energy, like this one for example. invigorating. We have more teas. I'm a huge fan of tea. So blissful rest in the evening. I don't drink coffee. So yeah, I don't drink coffee, and especially in winter I appreciate herbal teas more than a coffee. Do you drink coffee? Is coffee keeping you going? In principle, we don't work during winter months. I will talk about it a bit later, which frees us and gives us time for eating properly, cooking properly from scratch. So I will show you in the awning what I cooked for today. This week it's a bit different because I'm using my holiday to do Ayurvedic cleanse. So this is a very simple lunch I'm having today. It's khichdi. I can leave you a recipe in the description. I will be having this with fresh ginger. I'm going to chop this and parsley. And for dinner, I'm going to have leek soup. And I added some rice to give it a bit of substance, and that's it. Definitely having a dishwasher helps with cooking healthy, cooking from scratch. This is a really good tool if you want to cook and eat properly. Number 4, ladies and gents, as you can see, there are caravans. These are seasonal caravans, but most of people stay away. Stay off-site during winter. They could visit their caravan. Our seasonal guests could visit their caravan in winter, but not everyone is up for a challenge like me and Marek are. Which means that apart from us, the two of us, and the family who owns the site and they live here, there are no more people on site. There is no one to talk to. There are no chats. There are no conversations unless we meet by chance somewhere by the recycling bin or. But it's a bit lonely. It's very quiet. There are no other people. For many of you, it could be a bliss. It could be a perfect solution. Maybe you could focus on writing your book or meditation or whatever. For many people, it could be a challenge. So if we need a company, if we need contact with people, we have to drive and find them, find some people to talk to. So at least a few times a week we try to leave the site, catch up with friends or invite someone here, but we have to make this effort to meet people and to talk to them. Sometimes we enjoy not having this contact with people and just being here in peace and quiet, being alone. We like that quite a lot, but we also need contact and socializing with people, and walks with the connected ramblers were great opportunities for us to meet new people and talk to someone rather than just two of us. I wonder how you see it, what's your perspective, whether living on an empty site in winter would be a bliss for you or would it be a challenge? Number 5, and the 5th potential challenge. As I said earlier, we don't work in winter for many reasons. We work a lot during the year, we work very hard, and we simply need this downtime and time off in winter. So 2-3 months is ideal time for us to rest after a busy season and, you know, get ready for the next one. Also, there are no people here, and most of what we do on site is really providing services for guests. And if there are no guests, there's simply not much work going around. And finally, and I have to take a sip here, finally, working outside in the cold, in wet, damp conditions, this is simply not worth it. The money which we would make will probably pay for the doctors in the future. We feel that it's not worth it, that working outside in winter is simply a waste of your health, and this is something you can't get back that easily. So we would rather not earn for 2 months or 3 and avoid this the worst period really in terms of work conditions here. And you know, another reason for not working in winter is that we want to go away. So this year we go away on terms. When I film this, Marek is on Tenerife. I will be there soon. And we want to have a holiday. That's it. Does it leave us bored? Are we bored in our caravan? I'm sure you know the answer already. I honestly can't recall a day when I felt bored last time in my life. And even now during my holiday, I spend most of the time here. I spend most of the time on site. I don't feel bored at all. So we have a channel, we've got Instagram, Freedom Seekers, where we publish our content. We've got live streaming, filming for you, answering comments. That keeps us busy in winter. And we really appreciate your presence in this winter months, because just as I said earlier, we are not that rich in company, so we need this interaction with people, and you provide it to us. So thank you very much for being and interacting with us, connecting with us online, either through YouTube or Instagram, KM Freedom Seekers. So the channel keeps us going, keeps us, thinking and creating, and this is super. We also play chess, sometimes we watch a bit of telly. I exercise, I like to exercise in the caravan, and this space really is enough to practice your yoga, do your stretches or your weights. So unless as you have to do jumping, you can do most of exercises in the caravan. I don't like jumping because everything is jumping here with me when I jump. Marek likes his walks, and as long as it's dry-ish, he's out and about on his walks. So yeah, we are busy. Who knows, maybe we are even busier here during our holiday than we are when we work. When we work, we rest more, definitely, we need more rest. And when we are on holiday, we just pursue our hobbies, really, our interests. I read a lot, learn a lot. So I use this time for personal development and for growth. So no, I can't remember when I felt bored. There is no such thing as boredom in this caravan, never. So the final thought is that, especially in the UK, living in a caravan in winter is a bit hard because of the weather, mud, wet and cold conditions. So we are okay, especially in this lovely, big, spacious and warm caravan. We are absolutely happy here living in a caravan on site. But it would be a big challenge, and it would be the next challenge to do this life here, which is a challenge, as I said, and full of little daily challenges. It would be very hard for us to live here in winter and go to work, because things do take longer. There is more to do around the caravan, for example, talking about keeping it clean and so on. Things take a bit longer. For example, walking around with your cassette in muddy conditions through, very wet grass takes a bit longer than doing it on a summer day. Also, days are shorter, so our daily routine looks completely different to our daily routine in the summer. And what is the biggest challenge for me personally is when weather gets really rough and the rain is very loud and you can feel the gusts of wind in the caravan. I'm quite a light sleeper, so I wake up very, very quickly, and sometimes a few times during the night if the weather is rough. And I can't imagine, getting up in the morning after such night and going to work. Luckily, we don't have to. We don't have to go back to work till spring. So these were 5 challenges of winter caravanning in the UK, of living full time in a camping trailer in the UK. Please share your thoughts, give me your feedback if you like this video or not. If you are not our subscriber yet, please subscribe. If you find this topic interesting, you would like to see more videos about living and working on a caravan inside, subscribe and give us the signal. Yes, what you do is good, keep going. It will be much appreciated, and you will get a notification each time we release a new video, so you will not miss out anything. I thank everyone who already subscribed. We are trying to grow our channel, expand our audience and hit this 1000 milestone. So help us out here, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.